Mr. Norman for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman Cheryl. Ms. Reeves, in your written statement, you described some of the characteristics in composite materials and provided examples of resilience-based composite installations that have been used and are currently in our being deployed. Could you elaborate on what specific properties make composite materials a viable option for incorporating these into our infrastructure?
There's a number of applications and uses depending on what is the need. The first thing with the composite materials is, again, the corrosion resistance. Salt water, chemicals, de-icing compounds, even most acids do not affect the materials. So no matter what happens in that environment, that material is going to maintain its high strength. The other thing is there's a lot we can do in terms of design flexibility and lighter weight. So where the lightweight comes into play is again in the installation side, minimizing the traffic, the disruption on traffic and the current infrastructure when they are having to do replacements or upgrades of the materials. And then the other thing is, from an environmental point of view, the material's inert. So there's no chemicals that leach out of it. So there's not like with the treated wood or other things where people have to make use of it. So those are the big things. Is, I mean, again, the materials will be there for 75 to 100 years and maintain their strengths.
You and I were talking earlier. There's more needs than there is money to go around when you talk about this. So, in your opinion, what are the major barriers to actually getting the adoption and deployment of composite solutions, particularly as it relates to the incorporating them into the transportation infrastructure?
Again, and tying a little bit to that awareness and education side, one of the things that's worked in the past and we see as a big help in the future would be some demonstration projects with innovative materials, composite materials, and other new materials that are out there. Because a lot of times when the engineers are having to make a decision and they're of what materials they use, and they have public safety in mind, they rely on what's been done previously. And so when there's the case studies out there of using a new material on this type of bridge or this type of seawall, then they can look at that and say, okay, that works, I'm confident, I'm much more comfortable using that and deploying it. Because again, they only have so much time and resources for making those decisions. So having those cases out there from some of those innovative projects and, for demonstration and view will help the most.
Thank you. Ms. Averill, can you elaborate on the work at NIST and what it's doing to facilitate and accelerate the deployment of composite materials? As an example, how has NIST and the composite industry collaborated in the past, and has this collaboration been fruitful? And have you got plans to put this to work in the future?
Sure. The most recent and specific example is where we partnered with the ACMA to do a roadmap that looked forward to what are the issues and barriers that might be present for use of composite materials, particularly for infrastructure applications. That came up with 3 main areas. One was looking at doing durability assessment and test data. The second was making that data available to researchers and to end users. And the third was a piece on education and training. That roadmap is published and available on the NIST website so that the community can use that moving forward. We at NIST are looking at the various performance characteristics of lots of different materials. Most materials have various strengths and weaknesses. We want to ensure that we are able to characterize the performance of various materials so that we can make an informed, science-based decision at the end user level.
Well, I just urge you, what we hit at the local and state level are a lot of the decisions are made at the local level, and they're set in their ways with using a particular type product that they've used just because they used it for years, and they like the salesman are good salesmen. So I would ask you to stay involved on a local level and really make sure, ask questions like, what tests do you need that I can